Hey, you guys, I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about things that are coming up. I know I mentioned some possibilities when we talked on Zoom the other day about setting up some tutorial sessions, and we talked a little bit about the test, but I wanted to point you to the assignment page for today. So this is, if you haven't already been here, this is where you're going to go to get specific information. And most, not all, but most of what I'm going to say is in here. It's just that there's a lot of words, and I know how it is. A lot of times when there's a lot of words, you kind of tend to ignore. But this is really important stuff you need to get, okay? So basically for today, yes, you're going to watch, hopefully you're already watching this informational video. That's what I'm talking about right now. So I've got a review for you, a Unit 8 review, and it looks really long. I get it. It's like 50 questions, but if you recall, there's probably, I don't know, 10 or 15 of them are those ones that take like a second, to fill in the answer, just the shortcut kind of stuff. So it looks a little bit longer than it is, but that's a very comprehensive review for the test that's coming up on Tuesday. I've got the answers here to the review. Um, I'm sure you'll still have some questions over those, so you're certainly welcome to ask me those, as you're going through. And then that review, as always, is due, our next class day, which is Tuesday. Now, keep in mind, on Tuesday is when we take our test. So I want to talk to you about our test. It says you'll be permitted to use your notes and homework while taking the test. Okay, I mentioned the possibility of that, but we are going to allow you to do that. I would make a suggestion though, instead of having all of your notes and all of your homework there, if I were you, I would really focus on this review right here. Make sure everything you need is in that review. So it's kind of like you consolidating, because here's going to be the problem. Yes, you get to use your notes, but look at what it says. You're going to be taking this test while you're signed in on a Zoom conference. So you go to this exact same link, you're going to sign in. I'll give you specific, time and all that kind of thing. And then you get a 60-minute time limit. So you'll get 1 hour to take this test. Now, it's not nearly as long as most tests that we take. It's going to be quite a bit shorter. In fact, my goal is that really it would only take about, 30 minutes, but you know how that is. Some people take longer, some might not even need that much time. But if you're looking all over the place in your notes and homework, it's going to take you a lot longer than 60 minutes. So this is kind of the part that's really important for you to see. Even though you get 60 minutes, it's going to be to your advantage to know the material, to have gone through the review, make sure you've got everything corrected, all your questions answered, so that you actually are kind of taking the test without it. But if you get stuck on one, you can kind of go and look up and find, the type that looks similar to that. So just keep that in mind. Here's the thing, you guys, I'm trying to give you every opportunity. I really think that with that comprehensive review, you should be able to do really well on this test. But here's the thing, I really want to give everyone, I know it doesn't sound like freedom, but in a way, kind of the freedom to, that everybody is using the notes. And this is really kind of a security thing. That's why we're going to do it on Zoom. Basically, we'll have everybody will join the Zoom meeting. Everybody will be muted. And then you'll have your computer kind of sitting to the side, showing you taking the test. So you're going to take the test on paper. Okay. If it's something that you can print out and have, great. You can't start it until we start the Zoom meeting, and we'll send that out, and it'll be active just before the test time is going to start. If you don't want to print it or you can't print it, that's fine. Have your own paper ready. You'll just have to write down the problems. You don't have to write out directions. And I'll even point to a couple of problems that that don't require any work, where you're just writing down answers. And for those, it's perfectly fine to not write out the problem and just write down your answers. You just have to make sure that, we can read it really well. But that's the other thing that some of you said, is you'd much rather take a math test on paper. So that's what we're going to do. You're taking it on paper. And then as soon as you're done taking the test, while you're still on Zoom, we will see you pick up your phone to scan it, and then you'll submit that scan. So here's the thing. The only thing you will be touching your phone for is going to be to do that scan. Don't even touch it and move it, because I don't want to accuse you of anything. This is going to give everybody kind of an equal chance to do just as well as possible. So I'll kind of, print this up and send you a little reminders, information that'll remind you that you're going to start with before we take the test. But so you definitely want to be on Zoom on your computer as opposed to on your phone. I don't want to see a tiny little screen where you're trying to, squeeze in front of your phone camera. Plus, you have to make sure it doesn't fall over and go sideways. And I want you to be on your laptop. The other thing is you'll need to have your calculator there handy, because obviously there'll be something on the test that you'll use your calculator for. And I don't want you to have to get up and leave to go get your calculator, because I don't know what you're doing when you get up and leave. Again, I know it sounds like, I just don't trust anything, and I'm just trying to be careful. But what I'm trying to do is not have to accuse you of anything. I'm trying to remove that scenario. Not only do you get to use your notes, but I'll be there the whole time. So hopefully there will be no accusations, and everybody can just do as well as possible. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to remind you of is I mentioned this the other day. Notice right here it says there's going to be a Zoom review session Monday night. So remember, your test is Tuesday. So I'll open it up for like 45 minutes to an hour on Monday night. A lot of you suggested that this would be helpful. I would strongly encourage you to have already gone through as much of that review as possible, checked your answers so you know exactly what you want to ask about. And then if there's extra practice you want me to give you, and you're welcome to kind of, write that in there on the review, I can do that as well. But again, this is optional. Come, don't come for 5 minutes, come for 45 minutes, whatever you want to do on Monday night. And then just going forward, outside of just this test coming up going forward, as I mentioned, every B-Day, I will have a Zoom tutorial session at 1:15. So no matter what day of the week it is, that 1:15 will fit into that day's schedule for 7th period. So anyway, I will be available at 1:15, and I'll just go ahead and turn on Zoom. If you want to hop on, ask a quick question, over previous homework or just something in general, I just want you to know that will be automatically set up, and I'll keep it going for 30 minutes. So even if no one shows up for the first 15 minutes, I'll just keep it live. It's just that, when you do show up, make sure you say something so I know you're there, because I might be working on something else. But I'll have it there and available just for whatever you might need. Now, there was one or two of you that said, yeah, it's really easier for me if I'm only one-on-one. So if there's a different time, that you want to ask me questions, that's fine. But I'd rather you try this first, because it might be only you, and sometimes hearing other people ask questions is really helpful to you as well. So anyway, I hope you'll use that to your advantage, and all of this is helpful. So good luck. And as always, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you out.